All right, let's talk about management. It's this invisible force, right? It's the thing that can make a team feel totally unstoppable or, leave them completely stuck in chaos. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain and figure out what exactly that force is and how it really works.
Have you ever really thought about this? I mean, you see two teams with pretty much the same talent, same resources, but one of them is just crushing it while the other can't seem to get off the ground. What is going on there? What's the secret ingredient that makes all the difference?
Well, more often than not, the secret is management. Yep, it's the framework that takes all that chaotic energy a group of people has and channels it into focused, effective action. It is the ultimate difference maker, and we're going to break down what it's all about.
So to really get a grip on this, we've got to start at the beginning. We need to agree on a couple of key terms. Build our foundation.
First things first, what's an organization? Well, it can be pretty much anything. A giant company, a little startup, a university, even your local coffee shop. The key ingredients are always the same. You've got people, and they share some kind of purpose. Simple as that.
And this is where management comes in. It's really the art of steering all of an organization's resources. We're talking people, money, information, you name it, towards its goals. But hang on, pay really close attention to those last two words, efficient and effective. They might sound kind of similar, but in the world of management, they are worlds apart.
Okay, this is so important. Being efficient means using your resources wisely, without waste. You could call it doing things right. But being effective, that's about making the right decisions in the first place and actually seeing them through. That's doing the right things. And let me tell you, you can be super efficient at doing the completely wrong thing. Great management needs both. So, how do managers actually pull this off? Well, it all boils down to 4 fundamental activities. And the thing is, they form this continuous cycle.
Just look at how this all fits together. It's not a straight line. Not at all. The plans you make influence how you organize your team, which directly affects how you lead them. And then controlling, checking on your progress, that feeds right back into your next round of planning. It's this constant dynamic loop.
So let's break them down real quick. Planning, that's setting your goals and figuring out how you're going to get there. Organizing is all about arranging your resources and activities to make it happen. Leading, that's the human part, motivating people to work together for the good of the organization. And finally, controlling, which is just monitoring your progress and making tweaks along the way.
Now, it's super important to remember that the word manager isn't some one-size-fits-all role. Nope. They operate at different levels and they specialize in totally different areas of a business.
This classic pyramid shows you the hierarchy. So way up at the top, you've got your top managers, the C-suite. They're looking at the big picture, thinking 5, maybe 10 years down the road. Then you have the middle managers. These folks are so crucial. They turn that big picture strategy into actual plans for their departments. And then on the front lines, you have the first line managers, the ones working right there with employees, making sure the day-to-day work gets done. And of course, management also stretches horizontally across all these different departments. A marketing manager thinks very differently than an operations manager, right? But here's the kicker. No matter what their specialty is, they all rely on those exact same 4 core functions we just talked about. Planning, organizing, leading, and controlling. Okay, let's zoom in even closer. In their day-to-day jobs, managers are constantly wearing different hats. A researcher named Henry Mintzberg actually nailed this down, identifying 10 specific roles that fit into 3 big categories. First up, you have the intrapersonal roles, and these are all about people. As a figurehead, a manager might be doing something ceremonial, like giving a welcome speech. As a leader, they're the one in the trenches, motivating and coaching their team. And as a liaison, they're building bridges, connecting their team with other groups in the organization to make sure everyone's in sync. Next, a manager is basically a hub for information. In the monitor role, they're always scanning for useful intel. As a disseminator, they make sure that crucial info gets to their team. And as a spokesperson, they communicate what their team is doing to the outside world, or to upper management. And finally, we get to the decisional roles. This is where the rubber really meets the road. They act as an entrepreneur, always looking for opportunities and kicking off change. They're a disturbance handler, stepping in when things go wrong to solve problems. They're a resource allocator, deciding who gets what, the budget, the people. And they're a negotiator, working out agreements with other teams, suppliers, you name it.
And here you can see some really simple examples of this in action. Coordinating project groups, that's an interpersonal liaison role. Sending out a memo to the team, that's an informational disseminator role. And coming up with a brand new idea for a product, well, that's a decisional entrepreneur role. Managers are jumping between these roles all day long. So, with all this structure and all these roles, is management a science, with clear rules and formulas? Or is it more of an art, something that relies on gut feeling and intuition? Well, the science of management suggests you can solve problems with rational, logical methods. It's all about data and facts and systematic techniques. The art of management, though, that relies on intuition, on experience, on personal insights. It's the human touch. So what's the verdict? Is it an art or a science? The truth is, great management is a fusion of both. The science, the stuff you learn in a book or a class, that gives you the map. But the art, the experience you get from dealing with real-world problems and leading actual people, that's what teaches you how to read the terrain. You absolutely need both to get where you're going. So when you boil it all down, the crucial point is this. Management isn't just a job title. It's not just a box on an org chart. It is the active, living, breathing force that determines whether a group of people with a goal will actually succeed or fail. And that really brings us to the most important question of all. Understanding this stuff isn't just for the CEO. So how will you use these ideas, the functions, the levels, the different hats you can wear, to be a better manager or just a more effective team member starting tomorrow?